You don't have to have everything figured out to be on the right path. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Bree. This is Bree Online. On this channel, I do fashion content, fitness, lifestyle, DIYs, and chit chats, which is what you're about to see today. In this video, it's honestly really special to me. We're gonna talk about 27 lessons that I learned at 27. I'm one of those people that feel like I've lived 9 lives. I've done so many things in such a short period of time, and I've learned so many lessons, and I'm kind of excited to show you guys like that kind of side of me and just have a chit chat, sit down. These have become my favorite videos because I get to just sit down with a glass of wine and talk to you guys. So thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna jump right in. If you see me looking down at my phone, it's because I have them all in my notes. So let's start with number 1. I feel like it's pretty obvious, but it took me a while to get down to that lesson. And I'm gonna mention myself, but honestly, this is for you guys more than me. If I were in my early 20s, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, these are things that I wish someone would have told me. And who knows where I would be now. All in all, I'm very proud of and happy with the person that I've become, but it took a lot of lessons, and those lessons could have been sped up if I had some of this game. So let's start with number 1. Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. If you haven't heard that quote already, you must have been living under a rock, because it is so much the truth. And we've been sold this story of fairy tales and Prince Charming and just being a damsel in distress and someone coming to pick you up and save you. Even when I started my spiritual journey, I was kind of waiting for my manifestations or waiting for the universe to do things for me without really putting any tangible action into it. And that's just not how life works. If you want to see an immediate change in your life, it is literally up to no one on this planet but yourself. Not your mom, not your sister, not your brother. No one is going to be able to get up and make you do the things that you don't feel like doing. And it also made me realize that being uncomfortable is a good thing. When you're too comfortable for too long, you start to get pretty complacent in life and just feeling like you're fine there. And I've never been that type of person. I'm always in environments or putting myself in situations intentionally where I have to push myself, because if not, there's not going to be anybody there to push me. You know what I'm saying? So nobody is coming. You want to see change, you make the change. You don't care what anyone else around you is doing, because you are in charge of your life. This is your movie. This is my movie. I'm making a movie. Number 2, and these are going to kind of like be all over the place. I was going to make it so they kind of group together, but they don't. I'm all over the place. We're going to. Number 2, don't break up, fix the problem. And what I mean by that, not to say there's necessarily even a problem when you break up with somebody, but I know for me, every breakup or anytime I would experience a disconnect from a person who I wanted to be connected to, or even if I just felt like obviously we've come to terms that we're not supposed to be connected, I would be like, wow, all this time I just wasted, energy I just wasted. And that would eat away at me, and I would get really down on myself for feeling like I wasted so much time on the wrong thing. And don't get caught up in that, because everybody that we meet is here to teach us something, whether they stay for 5 years or they stay for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Everyone we encounter is meant to teach us something. So instead of just breaking up and looking at it like it's doom and gloom, you deserve to be sad. I'll get to that soon. Definitely take your moment to be sad, but also take that lesson and pick it up with you and carry it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's something in that relationship that taught you something about yourself. And sometimes they're harsh truths about yourself. They're harsh truths about your self-worth and your self-respect. But nonetheless, take the lessons that you learn when connections don't go as planned, especially, and carry them with you as things to apply when you reach your next relationship. So, number 3, what you eat dictates how you feel. The older I get, the more important this becomes, because I can feel the effects on my body when I eat lots of junk food or I don't go to the gym as much. I feel sluggish, I feel slow. I'm also slightly irritated. My brain is foggy. What we eat really dictates how we feel, and I think more than ever we're in a time to fight back as far as the food that's being mass produced and given to us. We really have to carve out the budget and the time and energy to cook our own meals, because that's when I have the most energy and I look the best and I feel the best about myself, when I'm cooking at home and I'm not eating out a lot. And I was one of those people that grew up super skinny, super slim, and I never really cared about what I ate, and that will end. When people used to tell me it'll catch up with you, I used to think it would fall on deaf ears. No, it won't. It's not catching up right now. I don't see the end. It's coming. That weight that you want to stick is coming. And if the weight is already sticking, then you know what I mean. What you eat dictates how you feel, because it also dictates how you look. And that will dictate how you feel about yourself, or how you just feel in general on a daily basis. So definitely be mindful of how you eat. Obviously, we all get off track. We have holidays, we hang with our friends and family, but for the most part I try to eat clean, and I also listen to my body a lot, so I can feel when it's off and when it needs to get back into a clean eating type of, and I'm there right now because I've been eating horribly as I say this. Oh, number 4, the name of the game is patience. Let me say that one more time. The name of the game is patience. We live in a society right now where everything is instant and we can get it really quick and fast and in a hurry, and life just does not work like that. There are moments where we need to take a pause, keep our head down, and just work hard and keep our patience. There's been so many moments in my life where I feel like I've looked at people who've surpassed me in life, or they're at a different point than I am, and I felt like, you know, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm so happy for them, and I'm so happy that they're able to soar, but what is it about me that prevents me from moving? And I toyed with this question over and over and over, and then I came up with the answer, which is, we are all on different life paths and journeys. My journey will never be identical to someone else's, and vice versa. And because of that, we learn lessons at a different pace. And so I knew that once I learned that, I knew my time will always come, and my time is always coming. And when it gets here, I would have learned the lessons that I needed and been equipped to handle any sort of success that I wanted to. So if you are social media, we're in the era of comparison and watching people in their young 20s, younger than I am, just living out my wildest dreams, honestly. And you start to think, what can I do? What haven't I been doing? And yes, there's small little pieces of that we can nip the universe in the but whatever, nip the universe in the whatever we want to say, and you know, like, push our journey forward. But at the end of the day, everything happens exactly how it's supposed to, and it will happen exactly when it's supposed to. So the name of the game is patience. You're not doing anything wrong. Everybody's journey is different, and I genuinely feel like the more that you clap for people who put in hard work and have changed their circumstances and their lives, the quicker it comes back to you. So demise will get you nowhere. Number 5, work hard. Work harder through the hard emotions. And I love this one. This is something that I say all the time. I'll probably even put it on the screen. Work harder through the hard emotions, because it's helped me a lot. I used to, when things would get me down or make me upset, make me angry, or I just felt like something was just, I don't know, any emotion that I felt was like a hard emotion, whether I was dealing with it in a friendship or a relationship or school or with family, if I was sad about something, if I was angry about something, I would alchemize that energy. And I want to do a whole separate video on this one day, but I would use that energy to boost, to push me forward. So what I mean by that, I can give it a good example. So say you and your spouse break up, you and your partner break up, you and your boyfriend break up, whatever. You don't even have to feel like it's forever, whatever the case is. and you're angry or you're sad, I used to mope, lay in my bed and just sleep and eat and smoke my feelings away and just be like, you know what? Basically just wait for it to surpass through me, but I would get stuck in that listening to sad songs and things that literally kept me stuck in a state of sadness. Which when you live like that, or you live in a state of anger, you're finding your escape. And my escape was going to the club and hanging out and not really dealing with my responsibilities in the real world, because I was just sad and I was dealing with emotions that I didn't necessarily want to confront, but I wanted to consume me. And now that I'm older, I know that I'm susceptible to things like that. So when I get angry or when I get sad, I do the exact opposite of mope. I get up, I go to the gym, I cook me a healthy meal, I study harder, I create my budget, I do my makeup, I do my hair, I keep myself in a state of go mode. And be very careful, because some people can read that as avoiding what is really what emotions are there. But I say give yourself 24 hours. If you really, really, really need to feel it, give yourself 48 hours to get your DoorDash and mope and eat your ice cream and turn your phone off and watch your movies. After that, back to reality. Back to reality. I was pissed off at work at a point in time in my lifetime. There's been many times where I've worked jobs and I've just been like, I freaking hate it here, and I would either just quit or just kind of give up. Now I'm in the mentality, if something upsets me, I need my livelihood, I need my job, I'm just gonna go work harder and see what comes from it. Because what is the universe really trying to tell you? You know what I'm saying? Learn to alchemize your emotions, especially as a woman. Especially me, especially all of us, we as women, we deal with so many emotions in a day, way different than a man. And instead of letting them keep us stuck and stagnant or in a repeat cycle, we can use them as energy to boost us forward. And it really works. Mark my word. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more you know, like, okay, this is what I need to do to pick myself back up. So yes, I've learned that recently within the last 2 years, I would say, and it's helped me so much. It's helped me so much. 6, don't forget to be angry. It's your right. And that really does tie into the statement that I previously made, work harder through hard emotions. Do not forget to be angry. I think as women, especially as Black women, we have been demonized as far as our anger goes. And sometimes how it can show up is through your adolescence, or maybe you're still there, but you show up as a people pleaser to redirect the narrative that Black women are angry. And so you're extra joyful and you're extra happy. And when you do get angry, you're like, I'm exactly what they said I was gonna be. Only speaking from experience, not saying this is you. This is, you know what I'm saying? And I had to learn quick, fast, and in a hurry that my anger, one, is a superpower, because we just talked about alchemizing our emotions. So I now know how to use my anger and redirect it into something that's positive. But also, it's my right. I'm a human being. I go through emotions. I'm not always going to smile and giggle and laugh. And at the end of the day, people do not take you serious. They don't take you serious. And sometimes it's good for people to overlook you and not take you serious. That can also work in your favor. But when you're trying to show up to the world as googly-eyed and happily and giggly, and you never get upset and you never get angry, it just comes across as fake and inauthentic. And one thing that I can never be is fake and inauthentic. And so when I would get angry or things would make me upset, I would be so upset with myself afterwards. Man, how did I let something get me to that point? And I just want women have been getting angry since the beginning of time. They talk about it in the Bible, Greek mythology. Medusa was a woman who turned men into stone. We deserve to be angry. Angry can be sexy. It can be productive. It's not all bad. And we don't have to live in the state of our emotions. I'm not saying go around in the world and be like an angry person or just be angry because for no reason. But be angry because You're angry and you have the right to feel that emotion. It's how we redirect our anger. And that's mainly what I'm talking about. After you walk away from a situation being angry, do not focus so much on the fact that you were angry. Maybe focus on what got you to that point and what you can now do with that feeling that you feel. But anger is gonna come. There will never be a lifetime that anyone lives, I don't care what anyone says, not a dog, not a fly, where they will not experience anger. So, number 7. The universe / God, whoever it is that you believe in, know what they're doing and have hands in your life. Study it and embrace it. Woo. The universe, everything that has happened, I truly believe that has happened up to this point in your life was not by coincidence. I always say that I don't believe in coincidence, and everything is basically already written. And that's why they say God laughs at you when you tell your plans, because technically your life is already written. You're just meeting vibrational matches and phases at each point to meet those things that you were already going to meet from the beginning, since birth. That's neither here nor there. That's a big statement just to say, to learn to release control in your life. And it's a thin line between taking control of your life, because you do need to take control of your life, and releasing control of your life. It's literally like a push-pull. I don't know, what is this, rowing? That is how you get forward. You take control and then you release control. You take control and then you release control. And I genuinely believe that's how you propel yourself forward through this wave called life. There are your plans, and then there are the plans of the universe. Unfortunately, we are just very small factors in a very big, large picture, and we do all have a purpose here on this earth. If you are somebody who believes you don't have a purpose, you may just not have found it yet, but you 100% have a purpose here, just like I have a purpose here. And study what happens in your life. Study the themes in your life. I kind of pretend sometimes I'll talk about myself in third person, not because I'm a schizophrenic and I'm crazy. I need to stop joking about that for y'all think I'm crazy for real. But mainly because I'm studying my life. I'm seeing what Brie goes through. I'm seeing how she's navigating. I'm seeing how she's growing. And obviously I'm Brie, so in turn that helps me, and I start to find this rhythm with the universe. Not to say there's no curveballs, because my life is full of curveballs. I live a life of curveballs, I swear. But there's just something that I'm observing about myself that I think is beautiful. Like, I'm growing in a way that I don't know if I would have ever acknowledged if I wasn't observing myself. And I don't even know if this makes sense, if this is a little too deep right now, but trust what God and the universe has in place for you, and learn it, teach it. You keep seeing the same lessons show up in your life over and over and over and over. Really break those down. What are they? What does this mean? What could this mean? Be curious about your life as if it wasn't your life, and see how it changes, honestly. Number 8, you will be tempted every step of the way to revert back to your old ways. Rise above it as much as you can. I don't know if I've ever delved into this, but I used to be a person when I was very young. I had lots of friends. I thrived in the fact that I had lots of friends, and I'm popular, whatever the case may be. And I kind of held on to that. I attached my self-worth to how valuable am I as a person with how many friends I have. And please know that does not matter. It does not matter. You are still a whole, full, worthy person. Even if no one else sees it in this entire world but you. You know what I'm saying? I think for a lot of my life, if I could go back and hug my younger self, she would realize that some of these people that didn't like you seen some potential in you that you could not even see in yourself. So of course there are going to be people who want to come around and knock you off your pivot, especially if you've been trying to grow as a different person than they know. And you just have to rise above it. You have to keep rising above it, and you have to keep seeing the test for what they are and rising above it. And that is the same in relationships. You may encounter the same kind of people, or you're able to see things clearer and rise above it. It's hard to do. It hurts our emotions. You're like, I'm different, so I wanted everything in my reality to show up differently, and it just doesn't happen like that. And I look at everything as like a test, like a game. The universe is testing me to see if I'm going to pass or fail. And if I want to get closer to my rewards, I need to pass. So if you're putting someone in my path who is trying to bring me back down to a version of myself that I worked so hard to get out of, if I choose to indulge in that, what does that say about my own journey and my own fight, you know? And that's a really deep way of looking at it, but I feel like it's 2025. We are in the era right now where we have no time to waste. We have no grace anymore as far as getting our lives together. Survival of the fittest. And we can't see it in the 3D quite yet, but if you're a spiritual person, you know that we are at war. And that might have just went over, but I'm just saying. Rise above it. People are going to try to come knock you down. They want you to be exactly where they put you in their head. That doesn't matter. Rise above that. Number 9. Routines make life more stable, but spontaneity makes it exciting. I can definitely speak to that. I just went on a little small trip for my birthday, in-state trip, and it literally just brought me back to life because I feel like I was going gray in my routine. And what I mean by going gray is I just mean that I feel like, I don't know, I was dulling as a person because I was going to work, going to school, going to the gym, coming home, going to work, going to school, going to the gym, coming. I wasn't having fun in life. And prior, in my younger 20s, I was, woo, party. There was no routine. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't really care. I just wanted to drink and look cute. That was me. Now I'm like, I need my routine to keep me on track with the goals that I want to meet and the things that I want to get done. And that's basically what it is at the end of the day. It's just a fine balance between meeting your goals and having fun. I feel like sometimes you can't even meet your goals and feel good about your goals without having fun and having those breaks. So treating, yes, having routine, but leave room for a little spontaneity. Leave room for some spontaneous fun and going out and letting your hair loose and being young, because we're 27 years young, not old. But if you're still young, then you're young, and you definitely get the pie. So, but routine has definitely changed a lot of my life as far as just making me a more responsible and more well-rounded adult and individual, and pushing me closer to my goals, because I have, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do this. I will also say, again, we as women, I love talking about women because we are women. I don't know I did that. But I love talking about women because we are a phenomenal force, and we're going to start to learn that more and more and more about ourselves as we reach higher timelines. But our schedules are not meant to be so black and white and so routine and so this thing. We're really supposed to move with the flow of our periods. Some say with the flow of the moon. And I've been trying to adopt that, you know, as I get older, just tracking my body and my ovulation and my period cycles, and when I can do heavy workouts and what I should eat, and center things around that versus like, okay, from Monday to Thursday, from this time to this time. That's more for men. So I would say really develop your routine, but into a flow, and allow room for that spontaneity. Number 10, paying your bills on time matters. That's just a simple statement. It's pretty self-explanatory. And again, like I said, when in my early 20s, I blew so much money that when I think about it now, it physically makes me sick. What were you doing, Brie? What were you doing with your life? What do you have to show for? You know, like, I don't know. So if you are younger than me, 27, please know, if no one's ever told you, paying your bills on time matters. Your credit matters. And when you make it a habit, it gets easier and easier to do. You know what I'm saying? I just used to just blow my money on clothes and dumb stuff and go out and have fun. As I get older, obviously, there's things that I want. I want a home. I want a nice wedding. Things like that where savings and credit and loans and stuff like that comes into play. And the simplest way to get ahead of that is to just pay your bills on time. If you don't know anything about credit, if you don't know anything about anything ever in the world, if you don't know anything about a mortgage, you don't even know anything about getting your first apartment, find out when your bill is due and pay it on that date or the date before it. That's it. Whether it's a car insurance bill, whether it's a phone bill, whatever the bill is, pay it. It's best to pay it prior to the day that it's due. But if you figure out when it's due, pay it on that date or before. Simple. You'll be in such a great place by the time you're my age if you just follow that same mentality. And it really does matter, guys. It does. Number 11. There's nothing sexier than getting your education no matter the age. I stand by this, I stand by this, I stand by this. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I feel like I still stand by. If I would have went to college right out of high school, I would have just got myself in a lot of debt and wasted lots of money, because what I thought I wanted to do when I was in high school, which technically I wanted to be a journalist, and like this is kind of the same thing, but who knows. Like, I've changed my mind basically over and over and over. Like, the field that I'm in now, I would have never thought in a million, I never even thought about. I didn't even know it was a thing. So I went back to school in 2023, and I think I stayed for like a semester and then I left, and I was 25 at that time. And then I went back in 2024 at 26, which was last year, finished a semester, and now here I am in 2025 at 27, really finalizing what degree path I want to go on. And it's really similar from when I first started with, but a little bit different. If you guys want a different video about me being in college as an adult, I can definitely make that a video as well. So basically, there's nothing sexier and nothing more detrimental than getting your education, especially right now in the times that we live in. I believe that everyone should be getting their education while we still can, women especially. I'm excited. I love what I'm learning, and I love the fact that I'm pursuing a degree. I always consider myself as someone highly educated, so I'm just getting the degree to match how I feel about myself. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Number 12. Everybody makes mistakes. Your worth does not diminish based on the mistakes that you've made. Everybody makes mistakes, and your worth does not diminish based on the mistakes that you've made. And that's pretty self-explanatory. I think we get caught up in being perfect. And this world has sold us a dream that if we just do this, or we just have this, or we just do this, that we will be perfect, or we will be considered perfect. And perfect does not exist. And that is what makes us all the more beautiful. You are different than me, you are different than him, you are different than her, they are different than me, and that makes us unique. Perfect does not exist. So knowing that perfect doesn't exist, that means that somewhere along the way, someone has to make a mistake. Someone has to do something different than the societal norm. And that does not diminish your worth. It does not make you a worse person. There are things that in my early 20s that I would never do now. You know what I'm saying? Or things that I put up with that I would never put up with now. And that's just a testament of growth and the person that I am. And that person was doing the best that she could with what she knew at that time. So don't think that the mistakes you made have to follow you forever. Because if it's one thing that I'm going to do, it's a rebrand. It's one thing that I'm going to do is go back, pull out my journal it out, get it out, and then we're going to start fresh and new. Your story is your story to tell, and you don't have to carry your mistakes like a cloud over your head everywhere you go. Number 13. If that friendship meant something to you, give it some time and try again. We are all learning and growing in our lives. And that's a really big one, especially at the age that I'm at. So I feel like as you go from high school to 30, As you go from high school to 30, I feel like that is the most, and only because I haven't made it to 30 yet. Some people say when you're in your 30s, you meet your soul tribe, whatever. But from high school to about 30, your circle of people that you associate yourselves with, I feel like changes drastically. It is going to change. You want to know why it's going to change? Because instead of having that routine that everybody's used to and we're kind of bunched here together because we have to be, you know, now we have our own lives. We do our own things. We're in charge of what we do. Everybody's going to start to look different. I have friends that are married, just got engaged, buying homes together. I have friends that are single and they're popping bottles and they're cute. I have friends who are in college getting their degree. I have friends who are just became the manager or reaching prominent positions within their career. So everybody is just in different stages of their lives, and that is why it'll switch up. So I can speak to this personally too, because I've had some friendships where in my early 20s, I was just in no state, I don't believe, to be the best friend. Not to say I was the worst friend ever. There were definitely situations where I showed up for people who just didn't show up for me. But there were definitely situations where I feel like I could have shown up a better friend. And I wasn't really equipped with how to be the best friend as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So there are relationships that I had to let go of. And as I'm getting closer to 30 and just getting older and reminiscing on those relationships, there are some friends that I miss, that I want to talk to, that I want to hang out with. And there are those that you should never associate yourself with again. So don't get it twisted. You really just have to have the discernment and know who those people are for you, because not all relationships are meant to be re-explored. And sometimes, unfortunately, you will rekindle those relationships with those people and it'll just show you again why it needed to end in the first place. And that is okay. That happens. But give it some time. It's a sensitive time right now. Life is hitting us from left and right. And if you are able to meet with someone in a different energy than the last time that you saw them, things might go different. Oh, number 14, sorry. Your energy is not meant for everybody. I talked about it earlier in the video, but I talked about people pleasing. And I was saying how, you know, sometimes you get caught up in people pleasing because you don't want to come across as angry. The thing is that it is a compliment to me if we don't vibe, because it means I'm living authentically in my energy, in my aura. Sometimes when you are a people pleaser or you're so used to getting along to get along, you don't have those kind of red flags or stingers or just natural responses to people or situations when they're not meant for you, because you've been living so much in your imposter. And so when I can meet somebody, or I can be around somebody, or I can be in a room and feel a vibe, I acknowledge that I can feel that. And I'm proud of myself, because me 6-7 years ago, she would be like, la 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 la, you know? So definitely know that your energy is not meant for everyone, and take it as a compliment. Everyone is not invited into this movie called your life. Everyone's not invited to sit front row and watch. It's a private show. So keep that in mind. Number 15, I got this from one of my best friends. Let someone's actions show you how they feel versus what they do for you. And it can be a double-edged sword, because you're like, someone's actions and what they do for you is their actions. We're talking specifically materialistic things. It is easy to be deceived by someone who is giving you things, but they're not making you feel good about yourself. So really observe the difference between feeling good because you're receiving something tangible that you can touch, or feeling good because you feel empowered, you feel loved, you feel safe, you feel appreciated. Those are two different emotions. And I really want to do a deep girls talk one day and have one of my friends with me or something. But I think more than ever, the world, women in general, just need to know that we cannot be bought. We cannot be bought. Your heart is worth so much more than a Chanel bag or a flight to Dubai or whatever the hell everybody's doing. I would rather be here alone by myself than with somebody who treats me poorly but gives me things. You know, really, really, really know that. Because I think to create the love that we desire and we want to see again, we have to stop accepting those things as acts of love when they don't come with feeling safe in your relationship or even in your friendship, because women can be manipulative too, or even men. If you're a man watching this, men can be just as manipulative. Here, bro, or give you whatever it is they feel like would make you happy for you to look at them differently. So be on the lookout for that type of stuff. Brings me to my next point, number 16. Men show up for women that they value. No exception. No exceptions. And you know what it means to show up. I don't feel like I have to go deep in depth with show up, but men will show up. If you ever have to sit back and think, wow, I don't feel like this person is showing up for me. And if that person acknowledges that they're not showing up for you and they say it's because I'm busy or because of this or because of that, that's okay. That those things can all be true, but then what does that mean for you? What does that mean about your value and being in that man's life if they don't show up for you because they're too busy? So at the end of the day, there are no exceptions. There are no if, but what, but there is no but. And I encourage all women to know that men will only show up for what they value. And until you feel valued, you're not safe. That's all I gotta say. I never want to give out advice that's bitter. We hate men because we don't. And there are a lot of beautiful relationships where the man honors the woman. And you could have that too. We just have to shift and position yourself differently. Number 17. This is for my best friend Chance. Don't let one bad day make you feel like you have a bad life. I always say give it one bad day. You get one bad day to scream, to cry, to eat whatever you want, smoke, whatever it is that you do. And then after that, you pick yourself up and you dust yourself off and you try again, because you only have a bad life if you create that bad life for yourself. So how do you have a good life, Brie? You create that good life. You wake up, you could be living in a shelter, you could be homeless, you could be dealing with something that you never thought would cross your path, and it could feel like the worst life ever. It could feel like you were dealt a hand that you thought you were never gonna have to play. The only thing to do in that situation is to shift your mindset and tell yourself you have a great life. You have an amazing life, and watch how it transforms. Watch how you can take very little and turn it to a lot just based on how you perceive something. Number 18, always put your best foot forward and go with your intuition. My life is ruled by my intuition. And a lot of that comes from the earlier stages of my spiritual journey. And when I was around 21 years old, I started to meditate heavily and read the books. I do feel like I've definitely fallen off since then, but really getting deep down into the core of myself, I started to realize that I have a very strong intuition, that I have a very good feel for things to come. And so I think life is a game. And so to play with your inner intuition and to strengthen your intuition, you want to use your intuition. So you want to put your best foot forward in situations and use your intuition to kind of tell you how you think it's going to go. Or use your intuition to guide you. I've used my intuition in relationships. I've used my intuition when it came to jobs. And I feel like I always came out on the better end. When I didn't come out on the better end is when I would have an intuitive thought, or I would have a repetitive intuitive feeling and I would ignore it. And I would pretend like I don't feel it. And in the end, that is what always bit me in the ass, ignoring my intuition. So I realized that I have much more to gain by listening to my intuition than I do by ignoring it and telling myself I'm crazy and it's just the third voice in my head. But by listening to it and applying it in my real life. And it's kind of fun because the more you listen to it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the more you're able to connect with yourself and the universe. And the more one you become, the closer to be that you feel. Another conversation for another day. But put your best foot forward and listen to your intuition. There is nothing, I tell people all the time, there's nothing above my intuition. There's nothing that anybody can tell me that will be above what I'm feeling as far as my intuition goes. Number 19, it's okay to start over. And you will have to start over. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over. In your friendships, in your career, in your job, maybe even in your studies, even as a parent, as your kids get older, it's a new stage of life. There will always be points in your life where you're having to start over. And if you are afraid of that, being afraid to start over, being afraid of the unknown is unacceptable in this timeline because things are changing rapidly around us. So the sooner you get comfortable with change and being able to start over and rebrand yourself because your life is only up to you, the easier life is. And the more fun, because you can throw a curveball at me, watch me work around it. Watch me alchemize it. Watch it not get me down. And that is the type of strength that we need today in this world, is people who are not afraid of change, and people who are not afraid to start over, and people who are not afraid for something to come in and knock everything that you have down, and you have to get back up and dust yourself off and do it all over again. Those are the people that are going to change the world. Number 20. We are too young to be serious. And this is, when I say we are too young, I mean at any age. You could be 60 years old and you're still too young to be too serious. I think, again, falling into a rigid routine and being stuck on this culture of hustle, 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 get it, get it, get it. What have I accomplished? What have I accomplished? That will quickly start to wear and tear on you if there is no fun. If there is no, you know what I'm saying? If there is no laughter. I was telling my sister the other day, I was like, I just feel like I laugh. I can laugh again. Do you know how hard it was for me to laugh? Like genuinely laugh when I was in the dark pits of hell. I can make myself laugh. You know what I'm saying? Those things are important. Turn a funny movie on. Listen to some old school rap. You do things that are just random and make you feel good just because it makes you feel good. You know, like, yes, the world is serious. Yes, things are happening every day, but I think we need to also prioritize feeling good and being happy and laughing and feeling like a community again, and not at the expense of other people, laughing at someone else. So don't forget, no matter what age you're at, you are too young to be that serious. Lighten up. I tell myself, coming from me, you know, coming from me, I tell myself all the time in my head, like, lighten up. Lighten up, girl. Number 21. You don't have to have everything figured out to be on the right path. You don't have to have everything figured out to be on the right path. Did you hear that? I hope you heard that. And I'm saying it to me and I'm saying it to you. Me and you. Because being on the right path does not mean that you have everything figured out down to the detail. Because when you assume that you have everything figured out, and whatever it is that you do have figured out, that's the reason why you're on the right path, and that goes wrong, does that mean you're on the wrong path? And all your hard work just goes to the wayside? No. No. Being on the right path is about learning, hitting your head on those notches and being like, Next, what is the next lesson? This is what I took from this, and I've made changes, and now I'm going to do this. That is being on the right path. There is no right path because there is no timeline where there are no mishaps, where there are no accidents, where there are no issues. So the right path does not exist. The right path is the path that you're on right now because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. What are you learning? What are you studying in that time? What are you observing about yourself? Let's see. 22. Losing people, either by choice or circumstance, makes room for better relationships. One more time, I gotta stop doing this, but losing people, either by choice or circumstance, makes room for better relationships. If that is not the truth, I don't know what is. There is no such thing as a loss when it comes to people. Just because people are not possessions, we are not meant to hold on to people for the remainder of our lifetimes. People die, you know what I'm saying? And you never really own a person. Slavery is technically over, so you don't own people. So losing them, I think that we have been taught everything is forever, or you meet one person and that is your forever person, and that is just not true. And again, a lot of people come into our lives as lessons, or to propel us into a certain path, or to teach us something about this, or to teach us something about ourselves. You know, it's a lot less about the people and more about you and your own journey, and what are these people shining a light on when it comes to you. And losing people, I always say this, I feel situations out, and if I get the feel that we are no longer compatible, then it's like, now I have to find, or now I get to make the room for whoever I'm supposed to be compatible with. Now we're in alignment to find each other, because I'm not dealing with what I'm not supposed to be. So just know that either by circumstance or you made that final choice in the coffin, something better is always coming, especially if you're learning these lessons. If you're not learning the lessons, you'll start to notice that you keep running into the same things over and over and over again. That is the clear sign that there's a lesson that you haven't learned. You keep meeting different people from different walks of life who look different, who come from different places, but they're the same person. You're learning a lesson here. And it's like 99% of the time it has to do with yourself and not that person. So just remember that. Number 23, luxury isn't about what you buy, but how you treat yourself. I will say that 100 times over. How you treat yourself is a real reflection of how you feel about yourself. And luxury, we throw that word around a lot, and we like to associate it with high-end brands and money. But it really is about how you show up in the world and how you treat yourself. And I just feel like the better that you treat yourself, no matter what you have, no matter what you've been through, it'll show. How you treat yourself is a true testament of a luxurious life. So never feel like, oh, I don't have the money to do this, or I don't have the money to do that. I can't do this, I can't do that. You 100% can. You exude luxury by how you treat yourself. It has nothing to do with your possessions and what you have. And I say all the time, I feel like people meet me and they're probably think something of me that and it's not me, not yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's just based off the way that I carry myself. It has nothing to do with the things that I have. And I'm proud of that aspect of me, because I don't look like what I've been through, or I don't carry myself like, you know, so remember that. It's literally just a mindset thing. Number 24, don't win your life away. The perfect time does not exist. And I had this bad, like, even when it comes to my YouTube channel, I would be like, when I get this computer, when I get this laptop, when I get my own apartment, when I get this new car, when I get this, then I'll start to film. Then I'll start to get on YouTube. Or some people, when it comes to bearing children, when I have this, when I do this, then I'll feel ready. And the perfect time does not exist. And I got this from a TikTok. A girl was saying how she watched a TikTok of another lady who was very old in age, and she basically was saying that she used to always tell herself, when the kids get older, or when I get this career path, or when I get this amount of money, then I'll be happier. And those times would come and she would not feel happier. So there is no other time than now. There is no other time than today for us to live our lives and live in the now. And I'm saying this to you. And I'm also saying this to me, because I think getting caught up in the future is a huge thing for us. And at the end of the day, the future and the past does not exist when we are in the present. So there is no other time to live our lives than now. And really be mindful of the things that you want to put off and why you're putting them off. Because again, we are only in the now. The now is the only thing that exists. There is no past or there is no future when we are living in the now, if that makes sense. Number 25, protecting your peace is more important than being nice. Let me tell you something. As a woman, you do not have an obligation to be nice. You can be a kind person. You can be a good person. But I'm going to be the one to tell you, you do not have to be nice. Let's exit the word nice out of our vocabulary for the rest of the year. Because nice girls, they finish last. Nice girls finish last. And I was a really nice girl for a really long time. So I feel like I can say that. And it's not coming from a judgmental standpoint at all. But I don't have any obligation to being nice. Because I'm a good person. I'm a kind person. That nice is perceived by other people because I'm a kind person and I'm a good person. But it's not my aim to wake up in the morning and to be a nice person. Because my peace means that much to me. Disturbing my peace will bring the not niceness out of me. And that is called defending and protecting my aura and my energetic field, which in turn will protect how I show up in the world, how I make my money, how I'm perceived by other people. Protecting my peace is the utmost important thing to me. Keeping my sanity and my confidence are the most important things to me because I fought so hard to get here. And that is how we all should live. And if being nice means that I'm low-key giving bits and pieces away of myself, I would never participate. Let me not say never, because I've done it millions of times. But you want a lesson? That's a big one. Circle that one. Protecting your peace is way more than being nice. Being nice is last on the list of things that you want to be in this lifetime. Because a good person, 9 times out of 10, they are nice. And if they're not, who cares? Because they're good people. You know, I don't know. This is a big one for my girlies. This is number 26. Self-respect eliminates 90% of the problems that you have. And I will preach this to the mountaintops because self-respect is something that I feel like we do not talk about enough in our community. Women, being young women, and just having, you don't have to be ultra modest or stop having fun to have self-respect for you. You don't need to change your wardrobe and the way that you speak and the way that you talk as far as your dialect. But you have to show up in the world with self-respect. Self-respect will dictate how you show up in friendships. It'll dictate how you show up in relationships. It'll dictate how you show up on the job. It'll dictate what you wear every day and how you style your hair and do your makeup. Self-respect is what you eat. Self-respect is tied to everything. And I think sometimes it's hard for us to dive into and get to the root of problems when it comes to what our life looks like or our being looks like. If you're one of those people who struggle with self-esteem and how you look and how you feel about yourself, if we don't acknowledge self-respect. And it's a hard thing to definitely look at yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, I've operated in the vibration of low self-worth and of low self-respect for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to feel that way about themselves, but that type of acknowledgement is what propels change. It wakes you up. So when I'm dealing with people or I'm just maneuvering in the world, I'm asking myself in the back of my head, am I demonstrating self-respect by doing this? Am I demonstrating self-respect by saying this? Am I demonstrating self-respect by putting up with this person or allowing this energy into my life? So when you start to piece everything, am I demonstrating self-respect by eating this right now? You can pretend. That's the thing about self-respect. Only you know deep down in your own heart how much self-respect you have for yourself. Because it's very easy to pretend to the world that you have self-respect, and then you have those moments where it falters and it wavers. And it's an ongoing battle. Right now our self-respect is being torn apart in the media and just the way that the world is right now. Women are just torn apart, and we are not being taught any tools or anything that solidifies our self-respect. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's going to be a new timeline. I'm not going to be the first to talk about it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first to talk about it. I won't be the last. We have a movement going on. So self-respect dictates your life. And if you're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start on this journey of being a better person than I was yesterday. Start talking about self-respect. How do you show up when it comes to your friends? How do you show up when it comes to your family? And what is that? How do you feel about yourself when nobody is in the room and it's just you? And last but not least, the best, number 7, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Always believe it and it will be true. But the best is always yet to come. You don't always know what's right around the corner, but keeping your head down, having goals, and pushing yourself to meet those goals, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to get out of bed, even when you're not in the mood, just keeping going at continuing to put in the work to be a better version of you, life is going to start to transform around you. And it's going to get better, and it's going to get better. But you're still going to have those moments that make you angry. You're still going to have those moments that make you cry. It does not mean that life is not getting better for you. You're just going through the curb. So always know that the best is yet to come, because you are putting in the work. You are taking the lessons that I'm giving you right now and you're writing them down. You're listening to them and you're applying them within your day-to-day life. And then come back and tell me if you've seen any significant change, even if you just pick one thing. So that will be the end of 27 lessons I learned at 27. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love these chit chat videos. Please comment down below any lesson that I said that stuck out to you, or if you have your own lesson that you've learned already, no matter what age you're in, let me know. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.